Is Disney's Premier Pass worth $400 or is it a complete waste of money? We tried it to find out. We want to really see if you try, is it worth the money?
This was the other very mind-blowing and surprising thing.
It's crazy to think we did all of that in a day.
Welcome to the Enchanted Ears podcast,
Where we discuss anything and everything Disney.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Joe. And on today's episode, we are talking about the Walt Disney World Premier Pass. And is it worth it?
Yes. And I think that our answer will surprise past us.
Yes. So would you pay, basically the question is, would you pay $400 to skip the lines at Walt Disney World? Specifically, we're talking Magic Kingdom. We tried it out at Magic Kingdom because I think this is probably the only park where it's potentially worth it. And so we're going to talk about our experience, how many attractions we were able to ride, if we felt it was worth it. I think also how this compares to
A VIP
tour, lightning lanes, that sort of thing. Before we get into that, though, let's cover the Disney news of the week. Okay, so Angela is away actually right now, pacing a friend on an ultra marathon. So I am solo on the news this week, but there were a couple pieces of Disney news that I wanted to mention. The big piece being we got some more information on the new Cars Land coming to Magic Kingdom. Now with this, Disney finally announced a closing date for Tom Sawyer Island and the Riverboat. That's going to be July 7th. So you have about a month left if you want to go and visit those one last time. But we got updated concept art on Cars Land. And I have to say, I like what they are doing with the updated concept art versus the original concept art. It seems like they are keeping a portion of the rivers of America. They're keeping some of the waterways. My guess is this is because they had to redo the permit because of the issues with the waterway. So I think that is a positive. It seems like that with the trees, it will still kind of have a nice vibe, help separate the land a little bit from Frontierland and the rest of the park. So I like that better than kind of the initial concept art, which seems like it had no waterways at all. The other thing is they talked about this is going to be based on kind of Rocky Mountain National Park is kind of the inspiration for this. And they're using the parkitecture, which is the design concept that the National Park Service uses to have buildings blend in with the environment. So all really positive, I think. Disney having more time and kind of rethinking this, retooling this a little bit is going to help it fit in there. Still losing Tom Sawyer Island, losing the Rivers of America, but I think it fits in better. The other thing that was interesting is it does not seem like it's taking up that much space. It's taking up kind of the front half of the Rivers of America, basically to kind of where the boat launch is, where you would go to Tom Sawyer Island, which means kind of the whole back half of Tom Sawyer Island and basically the whole kind of path of the riverboat is open for Villains Land, plus additional space kind of behind the Haunted Mansion. So it seems like Villains Land is definitely the big addition, which I think is a positive. You know, if we are going to lose the Rivers of America, if we're at least getting new lands, at least it seems like they are investing some space in there. So hopefully we can get a few attractions, a few restaurants, and it ends up becoming kind of a net positive for capacity and for the park. So the other piece of news is that Muppet Vision did close the whole Muppets Courtyard area over in Hollywood Studios, but they announced that Muppets taking over Rock and Roller Coaster is actually going to be coming in 2026, which is pretty quick. So it seems like they will have this re-theme, a pretty quick turnaround. Rock and Roller Coaster will be running through 2025, and then at some point in 2026, we will see the Muppets return. So within a year, maybe a year and a half, if it's late 2026, we will see the Muppets return. So very exciting that a lot of the changes are still moving forward, which again is a positive because there's always that worry with Disney that some of this stuff gets canceled. But exciting to hear the updates and looking forward to seeing as we get closer, construction starts, how the concept art changes, how more details of these attractions and lands come out. Okay, so let's get into it here. The Disney Premier Pass, for those of you that aren't familiar, because Disney likes to make things even more confusing than possible, they have the Lightning Lane single pass, which is just buying a single attraction, like if you want to ride Rise of the Resistance, if you want to ride Tron, that sort of thing. They have the Lightning Lane multi-pass, which is basically the old fast pass, but now you pay for, so you can book 3 attractions ahead of time whenever you buy it, and then after that you can book additional attractions throughout the day. If you're staying on property, you can buy these 7 days before your trip starts. I thought it was like 7 days before the day. It's actually, you can purchase these for your entire trip 7 days before your first day. So it kind of works like dining,
Yeah, I
where
was
it's
going to
60
say
days.
dining works like that too, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So you could actually, you could potentially be like 10 or 11 days if you have a 4 or 5 day trip. If you're staying off property, it's like 3 days before the day you want to go. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get some of this stuff. So they have those. They also now have this Premier Pass, which costs hundreds of dollars, depending on the day, depending on what park you're going to go to. And what this gives you is a lightning lane, one lightning lane for every attraction that has a lightning lane. So that doesn't matter whether it's only available on the multi-pass or only available on the like a la carte single pass. You get all of those, one per day. The other benefit is you do not have to pick a time to go. You just walk up, scan in the lightning lane whenever you want to, and you can ride that attraction. So, a place like Animal Kingdom, which doesn't have a lot of lightning lane attractions, is somewhere around like $200. You go all the way up to Magic Kingdom. It can be $400 plus depending on the day, because they have 19 lightning lane attractions. So we tried this out over Memorial Day weekend at Magic Kingdom. The day we did it, it was $380 a person. So it wasn't the most expensive, even though it was a holiday weekend. But it also wasn't the least expensive.
It wasn't cheap by any means.
So we did try that out, and our goal was basically to see, okay, you get 19 lightning lanes. Is it even possible to ride 19 attractions in one day? Can you get through more than that? Like, is this really worth it to do this? Like, how reasonable is it to spend this money? And what are you going to get for it?
And of course, this is like a current, like there's 19 attractions currently because Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is closed. So that will have a lightning lane, but it is not currently up and running because they are replacing the entire track for it.
And I imagine once that opens, it's just going to be more expensive.
Yeah, you think?
Because it seems like it works out that it's about like $20, give or take. You figure 19 attractions, roughly $400. 20 attractions at $400 is $20 an attraction. Like, it seems to be it's priced around that, maybe like $15 or $20 an attraction,
which is kind of insane considering some of them are like Dumbo, the Dumbo flying elephants one.
Yeah, so that's the thing, and that's maybe where we can start here. It's like, sure, you get 19 attractions, and just to kind of like name what they all are, so everybody's kind of on the same page here. You have the Barnstormer, Magic Carpets of Aladdin, Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, new. They want you to know it's new. Everywhere in the app it says that. Tomorrowland Speedway, The Journey of the Little Mermaid, It's a Small World, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, as you mentioned, Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, Mad Tea Party, Mickey's PhilharMagic, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, Peter Pan's Flight, Pirates of the Caribbean, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Space Mountain, and Tron Light Cycle Power Run.
Which I actually find it really comical that Mickey's PhilharMagic is listed right before Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, because it's laughable that you would need a lightning lane to go into either of those two rides.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So you get 19 of these, but as you're saying, Dumbo, you don't really need a lightning lane on. The Mad Tea Party, the teacups. Monsters Inc. you can get a decent weight on there, but like Tomorrowland Speedway, the Magic Carpets of Aladdin, like, you typically don't need lightning lanes for these. I think even like when we did this, we went in the lightning lane no matter what. But the wait times were only like 10 minutes for some of these rides. Like, if we didn't go in the lightning lane, it's not like it would have saved us
a lot of time.
So like that's some of it too, of like, hey, it seems like a lot of attractions, but it's like, do you really need lightning lanes for all of these?
Yeah. And I will say probably pricing wise on the day that we were there, I don't feel like it was the heaviest crowds. It wasn't a light crowd either. It was I feel like very middle of the road. Like, did you happen to check? And I know sometimes you check this, but is it Oh my gosh, I can't remember. They give the crowd levels.
Oh yeah, I didn't check. I mean, it was you're right. It wasn't like the most crowded.
Like I feel like it was probably a 5, 6. Like I think they do up to 10, right?
And I think you have to look at the pricing again. This was not the most expensive day. I mean, later in the week, I think the premiere pass for Magic Kingdom was over $400.
And wasn't it sold out?
Yeah, I think it was sold out like the week after. I think it was like $425. So like, I think you can look at that. Like, when it's going to be more crowded, Disney's going to charge you more. So yeah, I think we were kind of, again, it wasn't the cheapest day, it wasn't the most expensive day, so it probably was kind of like middle of the road. But yeah, so like you get a lot of these attractions, and it's like you're saving a little bit of time, maybe a couple minutes each ride, not a ton. Where I think it was still beneficial though for us is it ended up raining.
Oh yeah.
That day. So like in the afternoon, like heavy rains came through, and there was a lot of lightning. So a lot of attractions kept going down. A lot of the outdoor attractions, they kept, they would be up for a little bit, they would go down. But what was really beneficial is we were kind of running from attraction to attraction because it was raining, and it was nice to just be able to run straight into the lightning lane. And like
what got us inside and out of the weather
it
for
got
a
us
lot of
in very quickly. So even though like we maybe didn't need the lightning lane for all these attractions,
it was convenient.
It ended up being super convenient, and it did really end up helping us get through a lot of attractions because you basically just walked on every ride all day.
Yeah, and we did, like you said, we lost time. We sat in was it Columbia Harbor House?
Yeah, we ate dinner at Columbia Harbor House, and it just started raining.
I mean, we got very lucky because that it was just pouring down rain. I mean, it was kind of funny. I moved us to a seat that was by the window, and so we had a view.
It was good people watching.
Oh my gosh, it was the best people watching because we had a view of the Haunted Mansion, and as soon as it started to pour, like it kind of turned on really quickly, and we were like. What is that? The German word? Is it Schadenfreude or whatever? It's like the one where you take delight in other people's like misery. I can't remember they have a word for that, but we were watching and they were just coming out and like didn't, I think, realize it was going to be pouring. I mean, I think they knew it was raining, and they were just running like it was raining lava or something. It was just the funniest thing to watch. And I felt for them, but at the same time, I did laugh at them a little bit.
Yeah, it was funny. But then we were out there running around.
Yeah, like, okay. then it was us because we were like, we can't sit in here forever. But I think we've missed a lot of the very, very hard stuff.
But that was where kind of the benefit was. I feel like it was nice just being able to kind of just quickly go to each attraction, even though, some of these you wouldn't need it on. So the other thing, we kind of did this in tandem. We still ended up using the early park entry to kind of get the extra half an hour in the morning. And we were able to actually get a lot done in the morning because even though there's 19 attractions that have lightning lanes, there is, depending on how you define an attraction, 35, 36 or so attractions in the Magic Kingdom. Like if you look at the map, there's I think like 38 total. Now Big Thunder Mountain is obviously down. Hall of Presidents is closed. So like you don't have those two. A handful of them are character meet and greets. Like I think Meet Mirabelle is one of them. Meet Ariel in her grotto is an attraction, technically on the map. So you could argue, hey, like those aren't really attractions.
But but we did make an effort to include those also.
Yeah, we tried to do as much as possible.
Yeah, so we timed everything out so that we were taking advantage of the extra hours. Now, we didn't get quite into the park as early as we wanted. We didn't take advantage of the full amount of time.
We were probably like 10
I
or
was
15,
a little slower.
10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was a little slower to get ready, not to mention because we stayed in the, what was it, Kadati House?
Well, we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
So, but where we were, it was a good 10-minute walk just to get to the buses. So yeah, we didn't get there as early as we wanted to and take full advantage of the full, like we didn't rope drop. But we still just got like so much in, but we took advantage of that time and we knocked out some rides or some attractions that were not included in the lightning lanes.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So depending on how you define an attraction, if you want to argue over character meet and greets or not, there's about like 30 actual rides, give or take. So even though you have 19 as a lightning lane, you think that's a lot, there's still at least 11 or so actual rides that aren't included in a lightning lane. So there are things you're going to have to, wait in line. You can't skip the line on. So we try to focus on some of that in the early park admission. I mean, one, that's a great way just to get through a lot of attractions to early park admission, especially if you don't go, like everybody's going to Tron, everybody's going to Space Mountain, everybody's going to Mine Train. If you go not to those, if you go to the People Mover, if you go to Small World, Peter Pan, like you can get on those with like very low wait times.
And we've talked about this before. There are some rides that the wait times creep up to 40 to 60 minutes, like Pirates of the Caribbean, Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion. Like they're all in a very even like Peter Pan, like they're all in a pretty tight area in Magic Kingdom. And so if you actually, we didn't rope drop these ones because a lot of these were in like we didn't use the early magic hours.
They aren't all open though either for early park admission.
Oh, yeah.
So like Adventureland doesn't open early, but Fantasyland does. So like you could get Peter Pan and Small World in. Again, it's a half an hour, and then once that half an hour is up, then everything's open. So then you could quickly go to Jungle Cruise, Pirates, Haunted Mansion, but like you're not gonna be able to do those as part of the early park admission.
Right. Yeah. So, but we've done that before when we didn't have like the what is it, premium pass? I cannot keep
Premier Pass.
Yes,
the Premier Pass.
Premier Pass.
Lightning Lane Premier Pass.
It is way too much of a jumble of words. Let me just say, like, just call it Lightning Lane Plus or
Super Fast Pass.
Fast Pass. Like, it's something they need to simplify the name for us peasants who can't remember.
Well, the crazy thing is it's all lightning lanes, but there's 3 different types of lightning lanes, which makes it confusing. But this is the Premier Pass.
Right. So we didn't include those, but we went to ones that were not included, that were not single rider lines, that we could just get as many attractions in the day as possible.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is like with the meet and greet. So like meeting Mickey, that's probably a meet and greet that most people would want to do. It's considered an attraction. So that is one. Again, there's no lightning lanes for it. So like we did that early. So early morning in the first probably hour and a half, we got through the People Mover. We did do Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger Spin,
which it is a lightning lane ride, but we were over in that general vicinity,
it was like 5 minutes,
and it was a 5-minute ride.
Yeah.
So we're like, we're gonna knock this one out right now.
We did go to meet Mickey. As we came out of meeting Mickey, Elena of Avalon was there.
Oh, wait.
We met her.
Do not breeze past Elena of Avalon because
her story's insane.
We learned some crazy stuff. So we're standing.
Which was hilarious. We walk out. We go, oh, Elena of Avalon's here.
And Joe always loves Elena of Avalon.
Let's go get her picture with her.
Yeah.
And then we were like, well, we know nothing about her. So you quickly...
So I pull up the Wikipedia page real quick.
And it's like she was trapped in an amulet for 45 years?
Yeah, 40 years she was trapped in an amulet. And then she also has like emotion magic.
Well,
and
so she explained this to us. She fell in like a well of crystals and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we just walked
story.
Up and we're like, we just found out you were trapped in an amulet for 40 years. And she just starts explaining her whole story. And it was nuts. Like just absolute craziness. It was so good though.
Yeah.
Like, so it was a very enjoyable meet and greet because we don't know much about her, but after meeting her, we were both like, we need to watch this show. I think it was like insane. 2-3 seasons.
I think something like that.
Yeah. So we're like, we're all on the Elena of Avalon train now. We've got to watch this show.
There's a lot more lore to her like backstory because that's what she's like.
It's wild.
It's like I'm 16 or something, but she was trapped for 45 years, and then she's like, oh yeah, but then I fell in this well of crystals that gave me powers. I have like
a wizard friend, Mateo.
He guards all her magical. She has like a sword or like a light staff.
It was like a staff, some sort of a staff or something. But she said she didn't have it on her because Mateo was guarding it.
Yeah, like just crazy.
It was wild. So I was like, okay, we gotta learn more about this.
Yeah.
And it was a great meet and greet. Not the best one we had, but it was very good.
But then we did the treehouse, we did the carousel, like those type of things, the tiki room, stuff that didn't have the lightning lane. So we got through a lot of stuff in the first hour and a half. Then the crowd started coming in.
And then you just skipped out. We saw Aladdin and Jasmine just wandering around. Yeah. This was the other very mind-blowing and surprising thing. When we were in Magic Kingdom, We saw more characters wandering around than I have seen since I went when I was 9 years old.
There was a lot of that across
It was
all
very
of the parks.
Disneyland-like,
Yes.
because that has always been a knock that we have always had on Walt Disney World. Anytime we've gone to Disneyland, is that Disneyland always is thick with characters wandering around and just like going up, and you can have experiences with them. We saw Aladdin and Jasmine wandering around. We saw Peter Pan wandering around. Who else did we see? I feel like there was at least one more. I mean, we ran into Elena of Avalon. We weren't trying to find her. She just so happened to be at the exit of the Mickey.
I feel like there was somebody else in Magic Kingdom, but there were a lot of just like characters just out and about like in all the parks.
And we saw V Marathi. This was the other craziest
that was
one.
That was one. Just in the exit of Smuggler's Run.
We were leaving Smuggler's Run. And
just like chilling
not
there.
everybody would even be walking past her,
because
because
of
the
exit. Yeah.
It was the one exit that we happened to be going through. We got so lucky, and this was after we had gotten lucky being put on the same exact ride as well, going through the single rider line. But she was standing like peering around the edge, like she was hiding from someone, and I just go,
the Empire,
hey.
or the First Order, not the Empire, the First Order.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, hi, V. And I was like, then I got the I think she's in. I got the book, the Phasma book, because she's in Phasma. Because I see her all the time. I know she is a character in lore, but she has never been in any of the shows. And I'm like, we see her frequently.
Yeah,
I need to know about her.
I don't know a lot
so
about
I think,
her to interact
I
with
think
her.
this needs to be an episode. I'm gonna write a little book report on her. I'm gonna listen to Phasma, and I know she's in a couple
I'm
other.
gonna have to give you a little free personal pan Pizza Hut pizza. It's like back in the day, you do a little book report and you get a free pizza.
Will you bring me a personal pan pizza?
If you do your book report, I will. Yeah.
Oh, yay!
Back in the day,
this is
kids.
very exciting.
They don't do that anymore, do they?
I don't know.
We don't incentivize kids with food to read anymore.
Well, yeah, this is part. Have you never seen like the memes on like 30AF that are like talking about how we need to bring back the personal pan pizza and stuff to incentivize kids to read?
This is the best part.
And and Wishbone teaching everyone about history and classic works of literature.
This is the best part. I didn't eat pizza as a kid, so I would read the books. I didn't want the pizza. I think I think my mom would eat the pizzas. I would still read the books, but I didn't want the pizza. I didn't start eating pizza till about 3 weeks ago.
You were like 21 probably.
Yeah. In my 20s, I started eating pizza. But yeah, I did not. I was like, I don't want this gross pizza.
Oh my gosh.
So
anyway,
didn't really incentivize me very well.
Anyway,
maybe I'm the reason why they don't do it. They're like, these kids don't even want pizza anymore.
It has nothing to do with the fact that there's like no Pizza Huts around anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some, but not as many.
But you're right. I noticed that too. There were a lot of characters just kind of like out.
Oh, and we saw Mando. Mando was out.
Oh, yeah.
Ray was out.
In Galaxy's Edge, they had a lot
Galaxy's
of
Edge
characters
is
out.
like the one. That's like the one exception to the rollover in Disney World usually.
We still can't get all the cool ones though.
Yeah. Well, we have Mando. That's kind of cool. But we don't have Chopper. We don't have Hera.
Yeah. We're the droids. We're like the BX droids. I mean, like, what are we doing, Disney? So
anyway, back to Magic Kingdom.
So try to focus on some of those earlier, in some of the meet and greets. The one meet and greet which I really wanted to do, like I was kind of most excited about it, because we went into this day saying we're going to try to do as many attractions as we possibly can. Like, we're not going to go and just kind of have like an easy day because we know we have lightning lanes. Like, we want to really see, if you try, is it worth the money? Like, can you get a lot done? Yeah. We want anything that's an attraction we want to go see. The one thing that's called an attraction that's a meet and greet is Enchanted Tales with Belle. I've wanted to go do this for a while because I've seen video of the magic mirror that opens up. Honestly, had no idea where this was in the park because it's kind of tucked away back by Be Our Guest. It's not in a spot you really go to unless you're going to Be Our Guest. So I feel like every time we've gone, I forget about it because I never see it. But I was like, this is the day we're going to do this.
And I was flying blind. I knew nothing about it. I just thought you walked up and took a picture with Belle.
Absolutely incredible. Again, all I knew about the mirror, there is so much more past this mirror. This is the one meet and greet that is a true attraction. It is phenomenal. You got included. If you're not familiar with it, you recreate the story. They get the kids involved. They have some roles for adults. Angela was picked as one of the
There are
adults to be
two
a part of
roles
this.
for adults, and
Yes.
I was picked as one of the two. And I mean, like, they did a good job. They identify, like, not everyone got to have their picture taken with Belle. So that
Adults. Not all the
Yes.
adults did. The kids did if they wanted
for
to.
for the most part, yeah, the kids did. I will say, I don't know that all of the kids did, but the siblings of the kids that were up there got brought up.
They asked them all.
Did they ask every child?
This is interesting because I was just in the crowd taking this all in, and this is amazing. It tells a story about it's phenomenally
Yeah, we won't
done.
tell everything, but go do it if you've never done it.
Yeah, I would do this again because it's so incredible. But one of the interesting thing that they do is because it's not a traditional meet and greet where you're just like, hey, I go meet Belle, I take a picture, and so they get all of the kids involved in the story and give them all parts in the story, because then after the story's done, Belle's like, oh, thank you so much for telling my tale. Let's get a picture. And that's kind of how they do this. So they make sure all the kids have a role so they get a picture with Belle.
Well, they ask the kids too, which I forgot. Like, they ask all of the kids, even if they don't get picked out. They said, is anyone in the crowd that wanted a role who did not get one? And then they give them like a dinner plate, or even like, so if it's not, it might not be a character, but basically they give everyone a chance. So if you have a kid, you know, maybe prep them in advance, especially if they tend to get a little bashful, like prep them in advance and say, hey, like, make sure you volunteer, like, you'll really enjoy it. Now they might not do it without you, but it's really cool.
But again, that gets them up. But I did notice the cast members, as they were taking the photos, there was like maybe 2 or 3 kids that did not want to be a part of it. They went up and asked and said, do you want a picture? So they brought them up if they wanted a picture still. So they made sure all the kids got a picture. But what I found interesting is they pick a couple adults, and they picked you, and I believe the other woman they picked was there without a kid.
So they tried to target, it seems, adults that didn't have children so that they can involve everyone in there, like all the types of people.
Because you're there for a picture.
Yeah,
or
you get your
exactly.
Disney adults that are coming without kids, or people that are coming without their children.
Yeah.
And then you also, you know, get to the other adults by including their children.
Exactly.
Which is
right. So the parents
a cool way to like get everyone involved.
Yeah. So it was really well done. So like your mind was blown by this. My mind was, because I was like, it's amazing to see this. Again, I've seen kind of the magic mirror in videos, but to see it in person and then just everything else that happens. Absolutely phenomenal. This is the one where I'm like, yeah, this is a true attraction.
Yeah.
I mean, meeting Ariel, I don't know. Like going to Fairy Tale Hall, is that an attraction? Maybe. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're great with the meet and greets. I mean, we went and saw Rapunzel and Tiana.
But I will say,
and they're great interactions.
Rapunzel, I think it's really hard to catch the cast members on their back foot. I went deep, and I brought up Cass, and she did not, like Cassandra from the animated show. And she didn't pick, like, either she didn't pick up who I was talking about, she didn't know about it, and she only knew like deeply the lore of like the regular Tangled stuff, or she just like, it just kind of, you know, sometimes when people say things to you, it just like goes over your head, and maybe she was aware, but she just didn't pick up.
Well. She played it
off well, but she didn't, like, whenever you mention her best friend to her, Rapunzel should be like, oh yeah, Cass.
Well, here's the thing. Canonically, in that series, she doesn't have the blonde hair anymore. The meet and greet had the blonde hair, so you could make the argument.
What are you talking about? She had the blonde hair in the series.
At the end of the series, though, the series takes place over like a year, because at the end of the movie, at the end of Tangled, she has short hair.
Yeah.
She gets it back in the series, but by the end of the series, she has short hair again. So you can make the argument. You can make the argument here that this meet and greet, that all the meet and greets happen technically even before the end of the Tangled movie, because at the end of the Tangled movie, she doesn't have her blonde hair anymore. So in that timeline, she has not met her best friend yet. So she does not know about her.
Okay.
Because she doesn't meet her until the show, till after the movie.
Well, yeah, because when she moved in with her parents in the castle.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think you can make the argument that she knows what she needs to know.
I was trying to think. She brought up the I can't remember. I can never remember his name. He has like Attila, the baker. He's the one that's the baker. So she brought up Attila, but I think he was interested in that, and that was what he was saying about in that I Have a Dream song. as like
From
having
the
a
movie.
bakery.
From the movie, exactly.
So
she knows the movie. It's pre-end of the movie.
yeah, it was just it was an interesting thing. Yeah, so we did Fairy Tale Hall. We got to talk to Tiana too, who told her we were gonna go and ride her ride for the very first time.
Yeah, she was very excited about that.
She was very excited about that.
They do the meet and greet characters. They're so good at like playing off of whatever you give them. Like if there's kids there that are kind of shy, they kind of know how to interact with them. Adults like us, like, hey, if you know a lot about us, we'll talk about you. If you don't know a lot, we'll take a picture and kind of move on. Again, like Elena of Avalor. We just found out this about her. She was like, oh yeah, let me tell you some more of these stories.
She was
like,
so good.
Yeah, and like
so good.
Like Tiana, you're like, hey, I'm gonna ride your ride. She's like, oh, that's great. I'll save some beignets for you
and some gumbo. I think she told her she offered. She said she was gonna have gumbo. Yeah,
like they're very good at that. Of like, hey, what level of interaction do you want? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure you get some people that like
they just want their picture. And
want their picture and they're fine with that. And that is always the one thing I like about Disney, because it's like you could feel awkward going as an adult being like, why am I going to this character? It's kind of weird, but they've never made me felt odd, going to see them.
They like give back what you give to them, so that the level of enthusiasm that you have is sort of matched by their energy as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're all people that are like actors, like they want to be performers, and they're playing this role. They're just responding naturally to if I was Tiana, like how would I kind of respond here?
That is a good point though, that they match the energy.
Yeah.
Nice cup, by the way. Is that some new merch that you picked up?
It is. I sidetrack. I may have a problem when it comes to mugs.
Oh yeah. I think that together we need to, as a podcast cast crew, we need to stage an intervention.
I got this. And then I got two, they're Nintendo, Super Nintendo World mugs on my last trip. So I got 3 new drinking vessels. I saw probably 2 to 3 other Disney mugs that I thought about buying. And I was like, I can't come home with like 5 mugs. So probably next trip or the trip after, I will probably get some more mugs. Because the merch game, Disney, like, the merch has completely refreshed at Disney. We could talk about this for a second. Phenomenal. Like, I was blown away by all of the merch. They're getting, again, it's like all new stuff. The mugs have all these new designs on them. The merch, they're getting a lot into like embroidery, really like high quality stuff. Why I got this is because I love this like 4-park design they have now that they're like doing on everything. The refresh that I feel like pulled in, because I don't feel like they had this in January when we went for marathon weekend. So like they just got this in the past couple months.
I think they got like their summer stuff
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I feel like we went years though and nothing changed.
No, it was very much the same
and
stuff.
Now it's just top notch.
My favorite thing, and I think this is what I'm going to get when we go back in August, hopefully they still have it, is they have a blue and white Mickey Mouse like they have different prints. Like they had like a long sleeve shirt. I think they had a short sleeve shirt. But it's like blue and white, which is like very, I don't know, like Adriatic. Like it's like a deeper blue, like a navy, and just white. And it's like a very like clean look, but it had Mickey on it. And I liked that. So I think that I'm going to have to get that either when we go back, or I do have a pending order on the Disney store because there is a King Donald came over from Japan.
Yeah.
And so he has like he's Donald Duck wearing like a cape and like the crown on his head.
They must have not sold well over there.
Oh,
like,
my
why do they
gosh.
have them? You know?
I don't know.
What's
but
that Donald Summer?
He is so cute. Like he's just so cute, and he just looks so regal, and like he just belongs in a crown. So like I don't know. I love Donald Duck, so that's
No.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Next thing you're gonna do is tell me you like the Lion King.
What?
So I was probably gonna pick up some more mugs. I gotta start using them more here. So that's why I'm using this. This is a Starbucks one. They have a mug version of this, and I didn't see that till after I bought this. But I kind of like the mug version of it too. But I was like, no, that was one of the ones I was like, I can't buy.
What was the other mug that you wanted to buy? Just out of curiosity.
They have these really cool ones. It's like the main characters. So like Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Chip and Dale. And it's almost like it's not tie-dye, but it's like a multicolor mug. And so like they're really like cool, vibrant colors. They have like streaks of different color in them. The design of the characters on the mugs are really cool. They're really awesome. I'm going to show you next time. And maybe like one will just like kind of slip it in my cart. Come home with me. But yeah, but I kept like calling. I was like, I bought another mug, and you're like, you have a problem. You need to stop.
Oh, and they also had like the I forget what you told me. Was it an applique? Like they had like it was embroidered around the edges, but it said like Walt Disney World, and it was like kind of an oversized sweatshirt. But I can't remember why. Well, one, it was 1,000 degrees, and I was like, I am not purchasing a sweatshirt. But also, they had a black and white one in the one store that I found it in, and they didn't have it in extra small, and it just didn't seem like it was fitting me correctly. And we were in a rush, so I didn't really feel like checking it out to see if I could.
It'll still be there.
Adjust it, yeah.
It'll still be there.
So,
but yeah,
they did have some pretty cool merch.
They really stepped their game up. So, the other interesting thing that is dubbed an attraction that I was very interested to do, because I said, there's no way this is an attraction. How are you putting this on the map as an attraction? And this is the Scentsy experience, the smelly fants on parade, the smelly elephants. And yeah, this is, you got to squint and call this thing an attraction, but we did it. And
I thought it was kind of fun.
It was fun, but I was just like, this is like, what is this that they're calling this an attraction? But you go to like the big top and back in, I don't know what that's technically called back there, because it's like
the circus. It's themed as a circus.
Right, but it's kind of like, it's like Mickey's Toontown in Disneyland. And I'm not sure what it's called over in Magic Kingdom. Because it's kind of part of Fantasyland, whatever. But you go back there, and they give you like a little map with stickers, and you're supposed to go and match, like smell these elephants. They're supposed to have scents coming out of them, and then you put the sticker on it, and then
depending on the scents.
Depending on the scent, and then you come back and get promoted. Like if you get them all,
you get a sticker.
So you just walk around and smell. Only the first elephant smelled.
Well, okay, they all smelled, but I
only smelled the first one.
Only the first elephant smelled like what it was.
Yeah.
So like it was a caramel apple, and it did have like a caramely, like sweet smell to it. But then the rest of them, I could not place as the object that it said it was, and the only reason why I was able to get it right was because the elephant had the exact same design on it as the sticker.
Yeah.
So to make it easy for the kids, but also to make it easy for me, because my nose did not say that it smelled like pink lemonade or bubble gum.
I kind of feel like, because it's sponsored by Scentsy, like I kind of feel like they didn't refill the things. I mean, what was hilarious is we're walking around. There was another couple doing this as well. I don't know if they saw us, but like another couple was going around. But like most people, there were just people sitting in front of these elephants. They had no idea. Not knowing, and we're like walking up, we're like, excuse me, and we're like leaning in
and then sniffing
as close as we can get.
And they probably thought we were real weirdos.
Trying to smell, be like, what does this smell like? Like getting as close to this thing as we can, because to your point, like a lot of them, they weren't very powerful in what they were. So we're trying to get close. Like I didn't smell anything on most of them. The first one right there smelled really well.
You could smell it without walking up to it.
And I feel like they did that to kind of draw you in. And then the rest of them, like, we don't care about. But these people are looking at, like, what are you doing? I'm like, what does this smell like? What does this smell like? You know, I'm asking you. And you're like, well, I think it's this one because this is the color of it. But yeah, most people don't know it's there. It was fun. If you have little kids, it's fun to walk around to see the elephants.
Yeah.
And then you get a sticker at the end. It's like, you're a official, like, not smell tester, but like,
oh yeah,
I forget what the sticker says.
I should have looked at the sticker a little bit more closely. I was at that point enamored by the fact that the big top is actually a gift shop, and then I ran inside and they had a
that was a Donald Duck thing.
They have the double-sided merch, which I really like. I bought the Goofy sweatshirt in the winter that has the front. It says Goofy. I think it says Goofy, or maybe it doesn't, but it has Goofy and he's like hanging out, and then the back is actually Goofy's back, and I think it's really cute. But I was like, oh, do they have a Donald one? And they had a child's shirt, but the shirt itself didn't have very much stretch to it. So I was worried that like I would actually not be able to really wear it. So I didn't buy it. I figured they'll make it an adult eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought it was really cool. There is one of those experiences that we didn't do. I know that there's a Pirates of the Caribbean one as well.
Yeah, I don't even know. I have the map. I need to check real quick because I don't know that that's even marked as an attraction on the map.
Yeah, we've got to find out more about that, and then the next time we go to Magic Kingdom, we're gonna have to do the Pirates of the Caribbean experience because from what I've heard, it's similar to the DuckTales experience, but and it has those interactive elements like the DuckTales experience, but it's over in the Magic Kingdom.
So it is not listed as an attraction.
So where do you even go to get? I feel like I've heard it before.
You go over. It's by Pirates of the Caribbean is where you kind of pick it up. But what I'm saying is, it's not listed, and that's what's interesting because they have.
Are they still doing it?
Yeah, I believe they're still doing it. I think I saw that they are. So that is technically part of Fantasyland, the whole circus area. It's not a separate land.
Okay.
But they have Smelly Fans on Parade is listed as an attraction, but that Pirates adventure is not listed as an attraction on here. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like
I wonder if the DuckTales one is listed on Epcot's
on Epcot's
map.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just weird of like what's an attraction, what's not an attraction.
That's
so
strange.
But we did it. And I will say that was one of the fun things of like, hey, we're going to try to do everything. So we did a lot of stuff.
We did a lot of stuff that we would pass over.
Yeah. We would have never done that.
No.
You would never know it's there. I mean, like the teacups. I don't know the last time probably when I was a kid, that was on the teacups.
I don't know. I can't remember if I was, maybe when I was a kid. I don't know if I even rode the teacups ever.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, we were having a good time.
You can control how much you spin, but it spins a little bit, like even if you don't spin it. But once you start, man, that momentum you get going quick on that thing.
And it wasn't, I thought it was going to make me ill. I threatened you within like an inch of your life.
And then you just start spinning like crazy.
Well, the thing is I did find when I tried to stop it and go the other direction, that's when it was like starting to be like, whoa. So I just kind of kept going in the same direction, and then I would slow it down. And if I wanted to do it, I would let our stomachs reorient themselves. But yeah, you were like, dude, stop spinning it. And I'm like, well, just because
it just starts. That's what I'm saying.
It starts going.
It starts going. But like, yeah. So that I was probably a kid when I did that last time. But like Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor has been a while since we've done that one. So we definitely got to do a lot and experience a lot we typically would not have done. So we ended up doing every Lightning Lane attraction. So all 19 attractions you get a Lightning Lane on, we did do all of those. In total, we did 26 attractions that are rides. If you want to count Happily Ever After as an attraction, that's 27. And then we did 5 meet and greets. So we talked about Enchanted Tales with Belle, Mickey, Fairy Tale Hall, Elena, Aladdin, and Jasmine. So we did 5 meet and greets. And again, not all of those meet and greets like Aladdin and Jasmine, I don't think they're marked on the map as like attractions. But we did.
And we saw Peter Pan too.
Yeah.
But we didn't,
oh yeah, Peter Pan. Yeah.
So it might even be 6.
6. Yeah. So we saw 6 different characters essentially. And we rode 26 rides. Plus, we saw Happily Ever After at the end of the night. So, in total, we did 33 different things at the Magic Kingdom. So, we did not get to do everything. Like, we didn't get over to Tom Sawyer Island or the riverboat. And some of that was because of the rain.
Yeah, we couldn't use the riverboat because they closed. It was going to be shutting down soon, but because there was a storm, they shut it down.
Well, that's early. What it was. It was closed, and then it closes early. So, like, it came back up, but like, we couldn't get back over there because it was closed. So, we didn't do that. We didn't see every meet and greet that's marked as an attraction. So we didn't go over to see Ariel. I think, like I said, I think meeting Mirabelle is listed technically as an attraction. But still, all in all, 33 things, 32 plus a fireworks show. I mean, it's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? To get through everything. You do save a lot of time. Like, if we had to wait in line for all this stuff, there's no way we would have gotten through all of that stuff. I think we could have gotten through a decent bit because, again, a lot of the stuff, the lesser known stuff, was maybe 10 minutes.
Right.
But Tron was still crowded. Space Mountain was still crowded. Mine Train was still crowded. Like, I think the rain probably helped a little bit. Like, we maybe could have, hey, stuff was going down. If you got in line right when it went back up, you could have maybe saved some time. But from that perspective, like, that's a pretty action-packed day. So to get 30, let's say 30 things done at $380 is about $12. A meet and greet attraction, a show. That's not too bad, if you think about it from that perspective.
Yeah. I mean, some of that is quantity over quality, right? Like, I mean, some of that stuff, like, we got Carousel of Progress, huge time eater, never a wait.
And that's not one that has a lightning lane, but we still rode it because we were trying to ride. I mean, we basically, outside of outside of the riverboat and Tom Sawyer Island, of what was open, I think we did every actual ride that was there of what was open.
Yeah, I mean, we hit pretty much everything, which in and of itself was quite an experience because we've never, I think a lot of times we park hop, first of all, and then second of all, we never prioritized doing all of these other things. I think it was a really fun thing that we did. The only time that I got a little cranky, what did you tell me? I was having a tantrum. I mean, I wasn't, but like, I kind of, at the end of the day, I almost didn't want to stay for Happily Ever After.
Oh yeah, you're about ready to go at that point.
Like, I was just like, I've seen Happily Ever After. We're further down the road. I don't want to wait for the buses, which the wait for the bus was fine. Like, it was fine.
So we watched it basically at the end of Main Street,
which was cool because we got to see some of the not the end, but like,
we were on Main Street, so basically...
So there's two sets of buildings. The first set of buildings at the very front of the park, it doesn't have projection mapping on it, but we were on the set that does.
We were kind of like by the shop, like by the Emporium.
Yeah.
Kind of there. Because basically I was like, let's stay here. As soon as it's done...
We'll just turn and
we can turn around and leave. And we did. We walked right on the bus and left easy. But yeah, that was at the end of, again, a long day. It had been raining for hours. Like,
and
we were
then
running
before
in the
that,
rain
it was
in the poncho.
super hot and humid.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you were kind of like, I'm done. But we ended up staying and we ended up watching it. But I think if you look at it as, okay, hey, would you pay $10 to $12 to do each thing in Magic Kingdom? It's somewhat reasonable from that perspective. So it does seem like it's a decent value. It seems like it's a lot of money, but it is very possible to at least do all 19 Lightning Lane attractions. I mean, that's easy. Like, we did over and above that, no problem. Yeah. And it is nice to have the flexibility of, like, we just went wherever we wanted to go. It was raining. That attraction was down. We said, okay, let's go over here. And we'd ride these 3 or 4 things. We could just hop in any line at any time with our Lightning Lane.
And I do feel like we zigzagged a bit across the park. We didn't like...
Yeah, we weren't the most efficient in how we weren't traveled.
Super efficient. Which, again, goes to show you that we didn't map it out. I was a little surprised that you didn't seem to have it mapped out. It was like more random.
I didn't want to have it so rigid. I wanted to just be like, hey, let's just go wherever we want to go.
Well, but I do think that there, like we said, there's value to that though, because we didn't maybe use our time the most efficiently and still got through as much as we did. Again, it wasn't a heavy crowd day, but I would imagine that like, we had other time obstacles. Like you said, we lost time due to the rain. We lost the ability to ride certain rides due to the rain. Yeah,
but again, we wanted to eat. We're like, hey, let's just go eat. It's raining. We're going to sit here for a little bit. No big deal. It lightened up a little bit. We just like, all right, let's go ride like 5 attractions now because we could just hop in line.
Yeah, it like freed up time because we knew we had more time to spare.
Right. I think what's interesting is comparing this to like a full VIP tour. Because again, this is... If you look at the price, it is very expensive. You're paying for a ticket already to come to Magic Kingdom, and then you're paying $400 to, never wait in line again. You look at a VIP tour, which is very expensive. We were lucky enough to be able to do a VIP tour earlier this year.
And we did it with other people, so it wasn't as expensive as it
could have
been.
But that's what I was going to say. So, like, they're charging you, they can be, $4,000 upwards to maybe $6,000 or $7,000. You can have up to 10 people on here. So that's what I was kind of thinking. Like, I think at the cheapest VIP tour, if you had 10 people, it's going to be slightly more expensive than the Lightning Lane. I think that's kind of how they're pricing it. Like, I'm sure, when the VIP tour is cheaper, the Lightning Lane's kind of at the lower price. So you're not, I think, going to be able to get a VIP tour for $400, even if you had 10 people in there. And so it's like, if you look at it, unless you want to go to multiple parks, I think the Premier Pass at Magic Kingdom is your best value. Like, I think paying for a VIP tour at Magic Kingdom, I don't know what you're getting, because VIP tours cannot get you ahead on meet and greets.
Nope.
They can't, like, they're not going to get you ahead on.
For the majority of the rides, they take you to the lightning lanes.
Right.
They do not take you to the front of the line. We experienced a couple rides. They did that, and one of them was in Animal Kingdom.
Right.
And it was Dinosaur, which is going away.
So if you're going, like, hey, I want to meet Mickey, you're going to wait in line just like we waited in line. Like, there's no real advantage. The advantage of the VIP tour is if, hey, I want to go to Magic Kingdom, I want to go to Epcot, like, I want to go to multiple parks, I want the preferred viewing for Happily Ever After. But again, you're going to have 10 people. Even if you have 10 people, it's going to be cheaper per person for you to buy the Premier Pass, which I find really interesting that Disney has this. Like, they must be overbooked on VIP tours, because otherwise it's kind of it would be taking away from people. Like, why do a VIP tour if I can just buy this instead? So they must have a lot of people doing this. I don't think the Premier Pass probably makes sense in any of the other parks.
Correct. Yeah, but I do think that it was overall, like, I liked the VIP tour, but I felt like some of the value of the VIP tour, like, I just felt like it didn't match my expectation of what it was going to be. So I found that I enjoyed the Premier Pass more, I think, because I felt like we were unhurried. Like, the VIP, like, we were rushing around the park a lot. And like, so I felt like it was just very, like, booked, like, guilt, like, and we felt terrible. Like, I don't think it was not nearly as hot. Like, the day that we did the VIP tour, it was a lot more comfortable than it was when we this past.
Yeah, then we did. I mean, the other thing too is, again, if you're trying to price a VIP tour similarly and you have 10 people, it's going to be harder to get through more attractions when you have a group of 10 moving around the parks. Yeah. When it's just you. So I was really interested to see kind of how it compared, and I was like you. I mean, I was surprised of just how well the Premier Pass worked. How it did kind of feel relaxed. We were like, hey, we can just go do whatever we want at any time. And again, it's a lot of money. It's not something that I would do often, but I do think if it's like, hey, I want to make sure, like, I want to spend a day at the Magic Kingdom and I want to ride everything here. I know I want
one time. That's the other thing is if you want to ride something multiple times, then Premier Pass doesn't work because it's one ride.
But like, I want to save time so that I can go see characters, that I can go have a meal somewhere. Like, it's a good value because you have the whole day to use it. You can have up to 12 hours if the park's open, and it seems worth it. Again, I think the other parks just get your regular lightning lanes, which is nice. Especially when it's hot, like, just to be able to kind of like get those lightning lanes in there. But the other parks don't have that many attractions that I feel like you really need to get a lightning lane at all of them. You can almost do the multi-pass and kind of get the headliners on there and kind of, be happy with your day.
Right. Or wait in line, depending on a mix between
waiting in line and the lightning lanes.
So I do think, though, like, the value there for Magic Kingdom, if you want to go and you want to hit everything, it's there. Like,
so would you do it again?
Yes.
You would do the Premier Pass again?
Without hesitation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think
that's rare, because I feel like you typically aren't like, yeah, I'll spend the money to, like, do this, like, extra thing. But that's rare that you're 100% I would do it.
I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was a lot more enjoyable not standing in line for 40, 50, 60 minutes. I enjoyed walking up. We did not wait the entire day more than 20 minutes. And the only reason we waited for 20 minutes was because your dad was with us and he did not have lightning lanes. So we stood in line for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So if that would not have been the case, we would not have waited over probably 15.
I would say we
waited a little bit for
that
Mickey.
Cost us maybe 10 minutes.
But I don't think, like, the time that it cost us was a big deal. I'm just saying, like, in general, that was our wait time. On average was like 15 minutes, 10 minutes or less.
Yeah.
So it was very little standing and waiting, and I realized how much that increased my enjoyment of the park, because standing in those lines, it's like I don't like to wait. I'm not a patient person, so I do think that having
You felt it was worth it.
it was
You felt
it was worth. I would not do it every time.
Right.
But if I want to go to Magic Kingdom and have an enjoyable day where we knock out a lot of rides,
it was fun riding everything.
Yes.
Like it was fun going and like looking back on it, because it didn't feel like we did a lot, but then you look at it, you're like, we did over 30 different things. Like it's crazy to think we did all of that in a day and be like, we basically saw everything the Magic Kingdom had to offer. It's pretty cool.
I would be interested in doing this again, taking a park map with all of the attractions on it, and then putting check marks next to everything and seeing if we could literally hit every single. We got close, in this, but we didn't.
I think the rain derailed us. I think if it didn't rain, I think we could have gotten the couple things we didn't get. I think we could have hit everything.
Yeah, so like, I think that would be fun to try to do.
An extra 10 minutes in the morning and no rain, I think we could have done it all.
Yeah, like once every several years.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I would not do it every time. Or like, again, it's that interesting thing. Would I recommend this to a lot of people? And the answer is, I mean, it's a luxury, right? Like it's a luxury item if you don't have the money to spend, obviously, and going to Disney is going to stretch your budget in general, just to start with. But it is an interesting thing. It's like, if you're like, I want to spend a couple days, like 2, 3, 4 days in the Magic Kingdom, because I know there's a lot for me to do with my kids. And then that the dollar signs are adding up because you're spending all of that time in the Magic Kingdom. That's when you want to look at the Premier Pass, I think, because it might actually start to financially work out that, you know, your kids aren't having to stay still in one spot and you have to keep them entertained. Like you're getting into the rides a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think if you're going and this is like, hey, I go every few years trip, and it's like I'm trying to maximize as much as I can do in a day, or
I'm going over a weekend. That's all I have.
Right, and I'm just going to Magic Kingdom, or instead of going a couple days, I want to go one day. It is worth it. I think it's a cool thing. Like we did this in Paris. That's why I was interested to try it here, because Paris had this a few years ago before they brought it stateside.
Yep.
And it was great because we were visiting Paris, Disneyland Paris, and it's like we have 2 days here, 3 days here. Who knows if we're ever going to come back here again?
Yep.
We want to see as many attractions as we possibly can. So we got their Premier Pass, which basically gave you across both parks over there. And we got to see everything. And then we went back another day and kind of said, okay, what are the highlights that we want to do again? Or maybe a couple of things we missed. And we got to see everything. So it made it worthwhile, because that was like a once in a lifetime trip of like, hey, we're going to Paris. Yeah. We may never be back here again. Let's make sure we see everything. I think it's the same thing at Walt Disney World. If you're coming and you're like, hey, this is my trip, it might be a decade before I'm back again. It's probably worth the few $100s to go, because you're going to get to do everything in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
You're going to get to do all of the stuff here. Or again, if you're trying to maximize it, it is a nice way to do that. But I am interested to hear from our listeners, like, would you pay $400 to skip all the lines at Magic Kingdom? Like, do you think it's worth it? Because again, it is realistic to be able to use these at all the attractions. So it's not like, hey, I'm going to pay $400. I'm only getting on 5 of these.
Yeah.
It's not worth, like, you can realistically do this. So I'm interested to hear that. Let us know in the comments, or let us know on Instagram. We're at Enchanted Tales Podcast over there. But that wraps up the show for this week. I want to thank everybody again for listening. If you've not done so, please leave us a rating or a review. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks for lending us your ears.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you here next Monday.
Bye-bye.